the night, and we're driving through the fog down 2-lane country roads. We're following an ambulance to the University of Cincinnati Hospital. I'm 14 years old, and I'm with my mom, my brother, and my uncle when we arrive there early in the morning. We make our way to the waiting room, and it's filled with pale peach and pastel green furniture and pictures of seashells on the wall, and the fluorescent lights overhead feel unnecessarily harsh. The doctor comes out, and he tells us that my dad didn't make it. As we huddle together, I notice that everybody else is crying. But I feel nothing. What is going on? Dad just died, and I don't even feel sad. I could make a joke right now, but that would be terrible. As a trauma-informed leadership coach, I now know that what I was experiencing was dissociation. My body was protecting me from things that would be too dangerous to feel. In that moment, my body was keeping me safe. And in so many other moments before that, I had been doing things to keep me safe too. It's the late 80s, and I'm in 3rd grade. Our family's gathering at my grandparents' house in Urbana, Illinois for Thanksgiving. Inside the house, everything is brown. The carpet is brown, the furniture is brown, and the people are brown. We're hanging out in the family room, and my uncle asks me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I was an eager student. I was the kind of kid who would take extra worksheets home from my teachers in the summertime to do them just for fun. So I said, "I want to be an elementary school teacher." And my grandmother chimes in and says, "Teachers don't make a lot of money." And so I, in an instant, transitioned my career life dreams into something that would be more acceptable. I want to be a pediatrician. A couple years later, I even wrote my 6th grade term paper on early childhood development. But much to the disappointment of Asian parents and grandparents all across the country, I did not become a doctor. But what I did do was attend one of the best undergraduate business programs in the country on a full-ride scholarship. I graduated with honors. I got a job at a Fortune 50 company where I climbed the corporate ladder. It felt like safety to me to follow someone else's template for success. Now I'm back to 14. It's been 6 months since my dad died. I'm hanging out in my bedroom, and I have a Laura Ashley bedspread with purple and yellow flowers, and one of those clear acrylic phones that lights up when you talk on it. Sheryl Crow's Tuesday Night Music Club is playing on my 6 CD changer boombox. And as the last track of the album comes on, I Shall Believe, I feel the little hairs on my arm stand up. I had talked about this feeling before with my dad years ago. You know that feeling that you get when you really love a song? When a song is so good, it gives you the chills. He and I shared a love of music. And we would sit by his record player and listen to his old records. His favorite one of all time was the Beatles' Rubber Soul. And as I'm remembering all of this, I can feel the tension building up on the sides of my face, and I can feel a lump forming in my throat. I didn't want anyone to hear me, so I went into my bathroom and I closed the door. And as I'm crying, I can see myself in the mirror. I'm witnessing my own pain and sadness. And never once did it occur to me to share that pain and sadness with someone else. It felt like safety to me to be the girl who could figure anything out on her own. Growing up as an Indian girl in Columbus, Indiana, I got a PhD in being exactly who I needed to be. I was a well-rounded student at school, a good daughter at home, and a fun friend at parties. I could get along with the cool kids in their head-to-toe Abercrombie & Fitch outfits just as well as I could get along with the farm boys with their big trucks and their belt buckles and their cowboy boots. Now, I'm 13 years old, and I just got a new summer job. I had left my cushy former position, babysitting the kids in the neighborhood, where I would earn an easy $20 for a couple hours of heating up a frozen pizza, hanging out on the couch, and watching Disney movies. But this year, all of my friends were doing something different. And so I wanted to do something different. So I got a job detasseling corn. Some of you look a little bit confused. So let me break it down. Detasseling corn is this job where you go to a farm really early in the morning and you get on a big piece of farming equipment that has these kind of big metal octopus arms that hold baskets where you stand as it drives down the rows of corn. And you pull the tassels out of the stalks of corn. So it's our first day of work. I'm boarding the bus, and I'm wearing a white button-down shirt with light blue stripes and long pants. It's summer in Indiana, so it's probably going to be a sticky 90 degrees. But to detassel corn, you have to wear long sleeves and pants and gloves, because otherwise you'll get cut with the scratchy edges of the corn leaves. So I'm riding along in my metal basket with 3 other teenagers who were psyched to make $7 an hour, pulling out the tassels from the corn. And a few hours into that workday, I started feeling sick to my stomach from the heat. So we take a break, and I'm thinking, I really should be drinking a lot more water. But I really didn't want to use that gross porta potty. What am I doing here? I could be basking in the air conditioning, dishing out Kraft mac and cheese, but instead, I wanted to do what all of my friends were doing. This set the tone for years of trying out for sports teams, for sports that I didn't even care about, and eventually turned into laughing at jokes in a meeting that I didn't even think were funny at all. It felt like safety to me to always fit in no matter what. And the thing about these things that we do to keep ourselves safe is that they tend to work pretty well up until the point where they don't. It's early 2019, and I'm spending copious amounts of time on Instagram scrolling and screenshotting and saving very validating advice. Phrases like, stop giving the same people new opportunities to disappoint you. See, my boyfriend at the time had just opened a restaurant, and his inability to show up for our relationship had me spiraling. At work, our division had just gotten acquired by a new company. The leadership team there could only be described as an old boys club. So I had my first meeting with my new 2-up manager to talk about our marketing plans. And it went a little something like this. Oh, that big innovation plan you've been working on for the last year? Yeah, well, we don't really think it's gonna work, so that budget's getting cut. I had just come off of the highest high of my career, where I was doing work that was thrilling and creative, and we were gonna shift an industry. And now, I was waking up, dreading opening up my laptop, because it felt like none of it really made a difference. This version of me that I had become by keeping myself safe was someone I didn't even recognize. In my pursuit of belonging, I had outsourced my comfort to other people. And then, in the summer of 2019, I did something that I had never done before. I let everyone down. I let down my boss, who said, if Sandhya would just do things the way I want her to do them, it would be better. I let down my boyfriend, who said, if Sandhya would just stop having such unrealistic expectations about our relationship, things would be better. And I let down my entire line of ancestors who had sacrificed so much to get me to this point, who thought, if Sandhya could just have a more secure life than we did, things would be better. I quit my job, I ended my relationship, and I ignored everything I had learned about being responsible. And I let everyone down except myself. Now, it's later in 2019, it's November, and I'm boarding an Emirates airline flight to Bali. In business class. This responsible saver just dropped 5 years worth of Chase Sapphire points on a plane ticket that would probably ruin flights for me forever. I found my seat and I settled in, stretched out my legs, because you got all the room. I propped up my feet on the footrest and I smiled at the flight attendant as she handed me my glass of champagne. and I pulled out my phone to take a business class champagne selfie. I left on a sabbatical for what was supposed to be 4 months and turned into 7, and ultimately altered the course of my career. I'm Sandhya Sudhakar. I'm the founder of Self at Work. And now I help leaders redefine what success means to them, understand and communicate their needs so they can advocate better for their well-being, and build belonging on their teams by creating inclusive cultures. Instead of following someone else's template for success, I'm forging my own path. Instead of figuring everything out all on my own, I seek out collaborators and communities where I feel seen and supported. And instead of fitting in, I'm standing out.